Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We are live for the Late Vibe Show, man. It is round about 12:37 in the morning. Well, technically still nighttime, but obviously late in the morning for us. That's why it's called the Late Vibes. Over in America, we've got a couple of American Dons in the building. Still a bit early in the evening, but we're here post-game match. Obviously, we won Aston Villa. And yeah, man, we're here to dissect it all, man. With the man, we've got Griggs in the building. Griggs, what are you saying?
I'm doing good, bro. The Christmas miracle has arrived. Hojlund has finally scored a goal. It was kind of fitting that it happened the day after Christmas. I'm not gonna lie. That the storybook football's all about narratives and storybooks, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But man, just happy to get the 3 points. Ten Hag didn't break the Boxing Day record, so he managed to avoid breaking that
Right.
record. Good for
He
him.
nearly did. He nearly
And
did.
you know what? I tweeted this morning. I said we're gonna get the new partial ownership bounce. I'm creating my own narrative. I'm creating my own stuff. We're doing a new ownership bounce, and it's never happened before. Partial ownership bounce. And you know what? 1-0, undefeated in the Ratcliffe Ineos era. Long may it continue.
Yeah, man. Big up, man. Marcel's gonna tell us why. You know what I mean? Trust the process, man, innit? You know what I mean? This is it now, Marcel. Trust the
Trust,
process, yeah? Is that what you're trying to say?
tr-
What are you saying,
trust
bro?
the process, bro. Trust the process. Come on, man. We know what time it is. We're in a long-term game. You know, we're playing chess. Ten Hag's out here playing chess, and part of that is collecting the 3 points that we needed. I'm just hoping that this January transfer window is going to be as strong as the performance was and the comeback was, because we need a couple more players in the team, to really get through the next couple months. But I'm happy, man. I'm happy. We needed that win.
Yeah, big up, man. Big up. Omar's in the building. Omar, what are you saying, man?
What's going on, boys? It's been a while, man. Saeed, thank you for having me back again. Griggs, always a pleasure,
Always.
brother. Marcel, last time I left, you was looking like Hamza Chaudhry. Today, you look like Pop Smoke. I love it. Brian, it's been a minute, brother. It's been a minute, brother. I see there's a lot of you got the positive crew today. This is the Ten Hag, boys, and, minus Griggs and yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I think we need some negativity. We definitely need some, especially after
Don't worry, stuff is coming, man. Stuff is coming.
There you
Stuff is
go.
coming.
See, wow, I just segued him nice. Make sure he sits right next to me because he had a lot to say about my boy today. So I had to just
Right,
make sure.
listen.
There we go.
You know me about Garnacho, man. I always back Garnacho, man. You know what I'm trying to say to you, man. But big up to Garnacho. And we've got Brian here as well, man. Elite Pundit. He told me he's got a lot to say. We'll see what we're saying here tonight, man, as well. But Brian, how are you today, regardless, anyway, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, a good result in the end. That first half was almost the final nail in the coffin for me. But I don't know, Ten Hag, man. He's really knocked my confidence this last few weeks. But he made changes that fixed the game. So it's kind of like you've seen the worst of Manchester United and you've seen the best of Manchester United. And anytime I talk about Manchester United or Ten Hag, I always say, when United actually play well, it's some of the best football we've played under any manager since Alex has left. But we also play the worst football. It's the weirdest thing. Like, we play really bad that first half. Some people were saying was good. For me, some of the things I saw at that point I was like, okay, he's trying to get himself sacked with failing to understand simple tactical stuff. But we'll get into the show, and there's a lot to talk about with Ten Hag. But I think in the end it was a good result.
Absolutely. Listen, we'll start it off. Big up to everybody here. Make sure you smash the like button on the video. That's going to help the channel grow. You get me? So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Listen, Ten Hag lists the fight of the day, man. Hojlund comes into rescue. Marcel, how did you sum up the game for me? Sum up the game in your opinion. Did the highline help? Rasmus Hojlund coming back. How you feeling, bro?
Well, again, the high line did help. Aston Villa's high line made it easier for us to Rashford coming into the game and playing the way that he did. He's one of the best players at making runs in behind the last line, against the opposition. So, and then Garnacho playing the way that he did as well definitely helped. I think the first half was stalemate though, Saeed. If I'm honest with you, I think we even had the better looks at the goal. They just scored two set pieces, and you're coming out of that first half thinking, well, we've had a good go of it. It's just, we're not clinical, and for some reason we've got so many men in the box, and nobody wants to make a tackle, especially for that corner, the second ball for the corner into the goal, and then the set piece. Well, okay, I know everyone's gonna want to complain about Onana, but again, poor goalkeeping, covering your line, all these kind of
Oh
things.
my days!
It's a,
What did he say to him? Do you reckon, Onana? What did Bailey say to him? Do you reckon in his ear? He told him you're a rubbish keeper. Like what? I don't
yeah,
understand
something
how
like
he
that.
just got rattled, man. He got rattled,
Yeah.
man. He got absolutely rattled. But yeah, go ahead.
And then obviously the second half where Ten Hag's obviously says something to them, they step it up, and we get to play. We get to play more of the good football that we saw in the first half, but for better spells and for longer spells. Um, and then we win the game. It was Garnacho's game. All the big chances happened for Garnacho really, and I'm really really happy for Hojlund as well that he scores his goal. But this is Scott McTominay's at the team. We're seeing good signs now. Finally, as more players and more ballers come into the team, you're going to see the strength of the squad back again. Varane was in this team. That
Mm.
Bruno was in this team. So I'm just looking forward to the future now. I want to see players coming in. In January, whether it's loan, whether it's a buy, we need to get players in. So that's what I'm looking forward to now.
Yeah. You know what it is with me though, with that the first two goals, man. That's a shocking defending. Shocking defending, but you know what I mean. Like, there's no accountability, man. Who's helping? You know what I mean? Why is everyone stood still for the second goal? Like, I don't get it. It's just
Yeah,
absolute stupidity. Them first two goals, because, like I said, man, you're making it easy. You're making it harder for yourselves to settle. You know what I mean? We don't want to settle at home, but we're conceding a lot of goals, man. And them two goals were just silly goals, man. It weren't as if like they ripped us open. It was two set pieces. The second one came from a corner, then they went over the top easy, and then the first one. I mean, you can't be getting beat like that on Arda, man. And obviously, everyone just stood still. But the first two goals were horrendous, man, to concede. You know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, man, like I said to you, man, I think for me, this game highlighted as well the fact that Garnacho as well on the right hand side was an absolute nuisance. Is that a position that's locked in for him? I don't know. Rashford, I thought, had a good game. I can't lie to you. But like I said to you, yeah, it's very, very difficult for me to overanalyze this game because like when you look at Chelsea, they played a similar game where they allowed us to kind of get in behind and we had a lot of space. We're not going to get this space all the time, so that's where I'm trying to temper my expectations and my kind of admiration for this performance. But like I said, United, that high line, it's a gift, man. It's a gift. You get me? I'll come to you, Griggs. What are you saying, bro, about the game?
The first 20 minutes was absolutely actually pathetic. Like when I actually say pathetic, it was actually pathetic. Every single touch that we had was terrible. Our build-up play, it was hilarious. I was watching Varane and Evans play hot potato with each other. They were just passing the ball back and forth, back and forth. And Wan-Bissaka, he got the ball back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was very funny to watch. And then Villa got the two goals, the two horrible goals. Onana, you know what, Onana? I'm expecting this from every game now. He's gonna have one mistake every game. I'm just gonna have to pray that it doesn't cost us at the end of the game. And today, it didn't end up costing us. That's what my thought process with Onana is. And also Rashford, he had a great game. But I'll talk about his positives. But those first 20 minutes, the body language was horrid.
Yeah,
I know he
it
was
bad,
frustrated.
man.
I know
Bad.
he was making great runs, and I know the players weren't finding him. But I talk about this with Omar on my channel. You are now the veteran in this attack. You are the leader of this attack. They follow your example, and if you have that kind of body language, that will rub off on other players. It's the same thing with Bruno Fernandes, and for him, it's even worse because he's the captain of the football club. So those two, their body language wasn't good. But to be fair, they stepped it up after the 20th minute, and they were crucial in terms of making us come back. So that's what I want them to do as the leaders of this football club, because we said this in August. This iteration of Man United will go as far as those two take them. They are the two best players. Whether you think that's a positive or negative, that's another discussion for another day. But as of right now, Eric Ten Hag's Man United, until more transfers are made, this is Rashford and Bruno's team. When Rashford's on form, this attack will thrive. When Bruno's making those passes in behind when he's playing the 10. So credit to Ten Hag for actually not really credit to Ten Hag, but because it took him about 4 months to finally play Bruno in his natural position as a number 10 instead of having him as a deep line playmaker like he's on Jared Pirlo at Juventus. So thank you for that. But the first 20 minutes was horrible. But you talk about the high line. Aston Villa, I'm gonna have to criticize Unai Emery real quick. I understand why Arsenal fans try to say stop gaslighting us about Unai Emery, because today Aston Villa did not show up to win that football match. They literally did not care about today. They just showed up. They're like, here you go, have the ball. We're gonna press high line, 2-0 up. Playing a high line against Man United when you're 2-0 up at Old Trafford is literally suicide in terms of as a footballing team. I don't know why they did that, but Rashford punished them. Garnacho, I think a lot of fans asked for Garnacho right wing in the beginning of the season, especially when Anthony had the issues. Sancho got pretty much phased out the team. It was pretty much Garnacho and Pelletian who could play right wing, and then Ten Hag ended up playing Bruno there too. Garnacho showed that he can do the two. I've always asked for wingers. I always want my wingers to be able to play on both sides of the wing. Whether you can play left wing effectively, and you should also be playing right wing effectively, especially when you're a right-footed winger, especially because your weak foot should technically be better than like a left-footed weak foot. And he did good. He honestly today, Anthony has never had this kind of performance for us, ever. In his 18 months at the football club, he has never had a performance like this. Garnacho was making nice runs to the outside. He was drifting inside as well, carrying the ball. That's what you want your wingers to do, and he did a good job. And at the end of the day, I agree with you. I don't think it's a performance where you can overanalyze because we talk about the hotline. I think Saturday when we play against Nottingham Forest, when we play against Nuno Santos, and we've gone to war with Nuno a bunch of times with his nasty low block at Wolves. We know what he could do. And this time, and he also has those kind of nasty transition threats that he had at Wolves because you have Morgan Gibbs-White, you have Elanga, the revenge narrative. We saw what Chris Wood did today against Newcastle. They have some threats up front. So Saturday for me is a real test. What, especially because I think Ten Hag will end up running the same lineup. We all know what Ten Hag does. When he wins a match, he follows suit with the lineup.
Same lineup.
I want to see what this lineup sees against a low block, and if it cooks, then I'm gonna start thinking, okay, we might have some hope still. There might still be something left in the tank for Ten Hag. But as of right now, I'm just gonna analyze good win, 3 points, and move on.
Yeah, yo, bigger Omar, man. What were you saying, man? Do you reckon we were cooking today? Do you reckon that was what Man United could do? Like, how do you analyze the game?
We was cooking beef stew. In the first half it was kind of getting spoiled. I'm not gonna lie, they was throwing the wrong ingredients in there. But I have to disagree to Brian's point when he said we was very bad. I thought first half we were actually pretty good, especially after the 2 goals getting scored on. I just thought those 2 goals were absolutely utter bullshit. You get me? Like it was just the dumbest 2 goals I've ever seen in my life of watching ball. So that's what just drove me crazy. It's like, how does this team really concede dumbass goals? And it's so sad that this season I've seen the most dumbest goals that I've witnessed in my life. And as Marcel said,
facts.
Terrible football. You get what I'm saying? Like at one point, I'm just looking at this team like this team is really bad. But up until the 30th minute, that's when shit just like flipped. You get me? And it was I got to give him a big shout out. Today's Marcus Rashford, bro. And it shows you Marcus Rashford has a massive aura on the team. When he's balling, the team balls. When he's shit, the team is shit. So it tells you a lot of people's energy rely on him. Oh, man, Mr. Negativity, Staffy TV, welcome in. But anyways, so it shows you the type of style that goes on. You get what I'm saying? And also you got to big up Garnacho, although at times he was selfish. But listen, the kid's hungry. The kid wants the glory. The kid wants the sport. The kid wants to be a factor. So I got to give him that. But we need to have a nice conversation later on about Bruno and how shit he is. He's abysmal, bro. That dude is caca shade. Caca.
You thought Bruno had a bad game?
Bro, this is the problem with us, right? You know when you inflate a ball or a balloon and we just get excited, that's us, 3-2, coming back, Nottingham Forest. Clap them, okay? But what's the point? The point is to keep running. You know what I'm saying? And we can't let shit under.
Did you just call me negative?
No, but you be coming at everybody. You be coming at the stewards. You be coming at the stewards, the ball boys. You be coming at everybody, brother.
Look at the gaslighting. The guy, I didn't even get to say salam alaikum. I didn't get to say anything. This guy is already attacking me, calling me negative. He doesn't even know my takes. I haven't spoken to him since the game. But then he's sitting here being Mr. Negative. But he's saying, oh, because I don't want to get inflated like a balloon. Like, what is it? Do you want to be the happy, or do you want to be the real guy?
Yeah.
Just choose one and sit on that side. Don't sit on the fence.
No, I'm very happy. I'm just not happy with our captain's performance. That doesn't take away from what I think. You know what I'm saying? So he just.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Omar, before I let you go ahead, yeah. I don't know. I'm normally against Bruno. You know me. I don't rate him. I think if United sold him, I wouldn't care less. But I don't think Bruno had a bad game. This is a perfect game for Bruno. In transition, he played the ball in behind.
Other than the corner, right? That was a deflection that he crossed, right? What was the good game? So many giveaways. Let's talk about the giveaways. We can have that conversation, and this is consistent. I need a spark. I need dish me the ball to my feet for your striker to score. Hojlund ain't touched the ball at all up until that little turn he had. Granted, Garnacho was being massive selfish on the side, but let's be honest. he wasn't really as effective as 2018 Bruno, right? That's what I look for when it talks about Bruno. But today was just he was giving me a glorified McTominay vibes in the
today was 2019 Bruno performance, by the way. Today was the epitome of that 2019 Bruno performance.
Yeah. Let me you know what? Before you go, Mandim, yeah. Let me get Brian, because Brian, you're not a fan of Bruno anyway, yeah. Give me your perspective of what Omar said, and obviously then have to elaborate on what you think of the game and whatnot. But do you think Bruno was bad today and whatnot? Because I'm not gonna lie, he's not on my high energy today list.
Gotcha. He had a good game for Bruno in the past few weeks, but is it a good game for a number 10 for Manchester United?
No.
In the long run, probably not. Like, we can't... Villa played with a lot of space in the back line. And when we won the ball in transition, which Bruno did a lot, he was good at like pressing that forward press in midfield. He was instrumental to that, but he's not going to be the silky number 10. He's not going to be like a Wayne Rooney behind the Robin van Persie. He's not going to be that player that we need. But he did what Bruno does when Bruno has a 7 out of 10 performance, which is he forces the ball forward for Rashford. Usually when Rashford is on the pitch, he knocks that ball along more than anyone else. So for Bruno, he had a decent game. But overall, for me, the person who really sparked this game to life, there were, I would say, about 3 people. I think Johnny Evans. No one has mentioned him today. I think he actually had a good game, which is surprising.
He cleared that.
Yeah, he blocked that shot, which was probably going in. And then I think Menu had a quiet game, but he had a good game. Like, sometimes you don't want your deeper line midfielder to have a loud game. That could be they're playing ball poorly. But him and Eriksen, they allowed the team to push forward because the team trusted them to keep the ball. That's what allowed Manchester United to press and win the ball back high. I know people are saying Villa played a high line, but it wouldn't matter if Manchester United didn't win the ball back in good areas, which they did. And that happened because United were able to push the team higher up the field. For some reason, in the first 30 minutes, United were camped in their box. Why? It made no sense. That's why I was so pissed off with Ten Hag. He was camped in his box. Villa was slinging crosses in. They were letting Bailey attack Dalot at free will. It was just poor tactical plans from Ten Hag, and he allowed the team to come under pressure against a Villa team that were missing Kamara, some other players. They were open in midfield. So, again, in the end, he fixed it, which he did say in his press conference afterwards. He said he made the team press higher in the second half, which to me improved the performance. Villa didn't really have a response for that at the end of the day. And Emery, a lot of people were calling for him to manage Manchester United as well. Ridiculous. I don't. If you think Emery can be the manager of Manchester United,
not me.
You're like that's ridiculous. Okay, he's a good coach, but for a good coach for a Villa team that are always going to be the underdog. So at the end of the day, I think just to speak broader on Ten Hag, because obviously there's been poor results, and we don't know what's going to happen going forward with Nottingham Forest. They have a new manager. They have a new manager, right? With Espirito Santos.
Yeah.
And they're going to play a deeper block. So, for me, it's game by game. Bruno said the same. Funny enough, Bruno said the same thing.
Game by game, man. That's
it's game by game. I don't think it's fair for any fan to be like, I'm Ten Hag in. Oh, I'm Ten Hag out. There's no point. It's game by game because Brasford, from the guy from Ineos, was at the game today as well, and they're all going to be watching. And for me, I haven't been on shows to touch on this with Ineos. These guys, for whatever criticisms you may have, I think they're serious people, right? I don't think you get to the level they have in life without being serious about what they have to do. So I think Ten Hag is going to be part of the people who are going to be evaluated in this next few weeks.
Yeah.
He has to be consistent, right? And he can't go back to, if things go bad, all right, let's bring McTominay in. All right, you wanted to sell McTominay, you wanted to sell Maguire. I can't see these players play. I don't care how their form has been. Stick to your principles. Stick to why we brought you to Manchester United. Stop giving chances to players have no future here. Like, it's pointless. Build something. Build a foundation so that a sporting director can come in and be like, all right, you've built this foundation. This is what we can do to improve it. There's no foundation in McTominay in midfield. There's none. Like, it has no direction. There's no foundation in playing Rashford as striker. We know he's not going to play there. He's not a striker. Like, you need to form a front three. You need to set a base in midfield. And you can have the bad result, but we need to see consistency in tactics and a plan. And if we don't see that, he's going to get sacked. It's as simple as that. Because these bounce back results are only going to last so long until someone like just completely tears you apart.
100%, bro. Stuffy, big up, man. How did you see the game? I know you just did a match reaction and that, but how do you view that game? And is it a big benefit and and where do you see it in the long run? But yeah, man, just give me your immediate thoughts on the game, man. What do you think, bro?
There's no long run from this game, if I'm being honest with you. And this is why, if you want to bring up that super chat that addresses me, Said, while we're on it.
Okay, yeah. Let me bring that up for you.
I got clipped up. I'm gonna send you the clip. Basically, because I got angry when we conceded the goals, but I didn't celebrate any of the goals that we scored. Like, I spoke about them. I was like, oh yeah, 1-0, 2-2. I mean, sorry, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2. Hold on. Don't interrupt me. You sat there at halftime. You took down that Garnacho jersey, and now that we won,
it was down for other purposes. It wasn't down for that purpose.
So it wasn't there. You could sit there and flip flop all you want. You can look like a fish out of water, but don't come at me. At least I stay consistent with what I'm saying. Okay. So keep putting that Garnacho jersey up and down all you want. Okay. Anyways, back to the game. Yeah, you're a yo-yo, just like this team, and that's the issue. This team is a yo-yo team. So what am I supposed to celebrate? First of all, we should have never been down 2-0. So that already got me angry. Why are we conceding another set piece that it wasn't even a direct set piece? It was a cross. If you're being really honest with yourself, that's the same one he conceded to Hakim Ziyech. The only difference is he didn't get a hand.
Oh, yeah.
You remember when he waited too long and then he got a touch on it, went in, everyone went at him. It's the same idea. A cross, he doesn't come off his line. No one touches it, and it goes into back of the net. Why? Why is his footwork so bad? Griggs mentioned that before on this show. His footwork is horrible. He's always reacting wrong or reacting late to shots and crosses or whatever because he's not positioned very well. And we signed this guy thinking that he's going to do what De Gea didn't used to do. Today, I thought De Gea was in goal. It was De Gea in an Onana costume, if you're being honest, because De Gea never came out for these. So that's number one. Number two, the second goal, not even 10 minutes after, another poor set piece recovery. Why are we not defending well? Why are we not covering these guys on another set piece? The ball got played in, got headed back into the mixer, and then the guy backheels it. They were just trying to find new ways to score at this point. And I'm like, bro, what is going on here? Why are we not marking our men? Why are we're not man marking, we're not zonal marking. I don't know what was going on. But our box defending was horrible. But we were the better team. And it was one of those games where I felt like, listen, I feel like we can actually come back because we've been controlling the ball. We've been creating chances. We got unlucky with the offside goal. We had a few chances in the beginning. I don't know if you remember, Said, that was that one where Bruno took a very poor touch. He was played in by someone. I don't remember who. And he took a touch, and he was about 20 yards ahead of his defender. The touch took him back, and he just decided to shoot it out of nowhere because he knows he lost that yardage that he had on his defender, and that was another missed chance. But anyways, we were creating enough. And in the second half, I think Unai Emery committed suicide by persisting with a high line. I don't know why he was leaving us all that space in behind. Not only were we winning the ball in their half, every time we had the ball, we were finding these passes to Garnacho and Rashford. So at the end of the day, listen, the second half was good, but I can't take it outside of anything other than, like, in isolation, you can talk about this game. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it leads on to anything, because in the next game, we're going to have the same issue where we might control the ball, but we don't control the game. And there's a huge difference between controlling the ball and controlling the game. Against West Ham, we controlled the ball, but not the game. Today, we controlled the ball, but not the game, until we came in late and we won. I understand, listen, Garnacho brace looks good on the eye. Hojlund finally scoring, get the memes off him. That value-sized Hornswoggle, whatever his name is, he can now pipe down. We don't have to
that guy's gone now. He's finished now.
He's guy, that clout chaser. Yeah, now I don't have to see him on my timeline anymore. All these things are good. But when you're looking at the game in general side, it's still poor management from the manager. The player are downing tools at moments. They're not staying locked in. They're not staying focused. The players still look like they regress. I feel like if this game was away, we would have never won that. If you're being very honest with yourself. If this was an away game, it would have gotten worse in the second half. Because it's Old Trafford, and we always believe when we're Old Trafford, we tend to have some of these games. We've seen it early in the season. The guy that asked me why I didn't celebrate, I celebrated the McTominay double earlier in the season. And where did that take me? I celebrated the McTominay double against Chelsea. Where did that take me? And this is just another one where, like, I am generally not happy because I don't see us controlling games. I need to see us going against, especially against lower teams, controlling games. I don't want to have a scare every time they have a set piece. I don't want to have a scare every time they get the ball. I don't want to have a scare every time one of their players is running down the wing. I don't want to have a scare every time I see them in the midfield because we still have an isolated 6. So if this is negative, I know it's Christmas, but I'm not going to be Santa. Maybe I'll be the Grinch. And the Grinch is going to come here and is going to tell you the truth. The truth is, there's not much to take out of this game.
You know what? You know what's mad, yeah? And Marcel, I'll bring it to you. Do you think it's fair, the fans feeling like this? Do you think people need to have patience? I was having a go at Cams on Twitter, and he said to me, don't worry, it's the players, and, you know, the manager's got the tactics right, and what we're doing under Ten Hag is spot on. Do you still feel like with all the trials and tribulations we're going through and all the suffering that you may see, that Ten Hag is on the right track? Do you believe that, Marcel, and whatnot? Like, because obviously people are feeling like they're feeling right now. How do you feel?
Definitely. There's no way in my mind that, you know, Ten Hag should be getting sacked this season. I think he should be getting a free pass to the end of the season. I agree with Staffy in the sense that, you know, a lot of what Staffy's saying
pass,
in terms of
free pass is crazy.
No. You have to say, change your term. Don't say free pass. Say he should be given to the end of the season. Should be given to the end of the season. That's it. Don't say free pass.
Free pass, by the way, means free pass means we can do like 15th. If we're 15th in like March, let's say. If he's 15th in March, let's say, for example, if he's bottom half in March, does he deserve to get sacked?
No, I don't think so. I think because, you know, Ineos is coming in and the structure will be coming in, and it will allow him opportunity to get his signings in and change the dynamic of players. You know, Brian was saying that Scott McTominay,
what's his signings? I thought we got them in to get the right signings, not his signings.
Can I finish? Yeah, can I finish with what I'm saying though? Just
let him land.
Yeah, let me just finish it. So, you know, like Brian was saying, players like Scott McTominay, you know, they're not. Firstly, there's no future with those kind of players. So he needs to get those players out now. I think we're reaching a bit of a turning point where those players, they were only in the team because they were part of winning games. They were part of contributing goals in games. So he has to play them. Now, you know, we're seeing a period where we're capitulating under certain circumstances, and other players are coming in. Fitness players are coming back to fitness. So I wouldn't be worried about, you know, what Ten Hag's doing for the rest of this season because of the injury situation, because of the financial situation, because the structure's coming in. I would look at it again till the end of the season. This is all part of the process. You know, for me, it's a thing where, you know, we're gonna have bad games and difficult periods, and we're trying to commit to a new system and to a new style of play. You know, but we should be doing what Staffy's doing. We should be looking at certain games in isolation and saying, you know, what can we take from this game? We should be looking at, you know, a run of games and saying, you know, is his system working? You know, we're looking at the 3-1-6 and we're saying having a single midfielder in there does not work in the Premier League. When is he going to change it? But to say that he should get sacked on these principles, I don't know if he should be getting sacked on the current principles that he's trying to implement, you know, to help us win games in this league. The way that he's implementing them is fine. It works. We get results, or we have good spells of football. It's the players trying to implement it. They can't do it for a sustained period of times. Some of them are not meant to even be here. He wanted to sell them, but you know, that's what we're negotiating with right now. For me, anyway.
I think it's Marcel. When you say that, though, I don't understand. When we win, it's the players, but then when we lose, you know what I mean? I feel like it just changes from time to time. Like, you know, the players are there because he's choosing certain players to play in it for me. Like today, he got it right because he took off McTominay, and therefore he should be credited for that midfield free. But then when we don't play them, it's like, oh, but then it's the players and whatnot. He can change his narrative and the scenario. Like he's in charge of his own destiny, really.
You got to also be fair. A lot of L's this season.
In what sense?
This is what I'm about to tell you. Majority of our L's. Of course, he takes parts in the L's, but majority in our L's were actually individual errors. A lot of it was individual errors.
No.
Most.
No, it wasn't.
Which one?
So many games.
I was saying in the Champions League, I would say mostly Onana single-handedly probably got us knocked out.
Yeah,
but
I agree with that one.
In the league now, In the league, it's been mostly poor
come on,
performances all around.
No, in the league,
You know why?
Yeah.
You know why that's bullshit. You know why that's bullshit. The one thing the same drum all of us here have been beating this season is that the midfield is not good enough. When we
But
kept
wasn't
talking about the
Eriksen hurt?
midfield, hold on. We didn't just talk about McTominay in the midfield. In the beginning of the season, remember who the midfield was? It was Casemiro, Bruno, and Mount, and we still said that the midfield wasn't good. Then McTominay started playing. We've been complaining about the midfield and the 3-1-6 all season. We can't be sitting here saying it's individual errors when the main thing has been our midfield being outrun. When your midfield is being outrun from August until December, I need to look at tactics. When you haven't scored, other than today, obviously we scored 3 goals, but before today, you had 18 goals in 18 games, and your whole front line had 4 goals combined. I can't blame the individuals. I gotta blame the tactics. When I'm on a negative goal difference, I can't blame individuals. I gotta blame the tactics. Because overall, we haven't been good. No, listen, you can disagree all you want, but you can't have 23 players that are not performing well. It's not possible. You can have some players that are not performing well. That's very fine. You look at all teams. There's players that are doing good. There's players that do bad. Look at Arsenal's example. They have players that are doing good, and they have Martinelli who's doing bad. They have Odegaard who's doing bad. They have players that they pick out, but overall the team isn't bad. Same thing at City. Same thing as Liverpool. You can name 4 or 5 players if you want, max, at every team where, like, you know what? This player hasn't been good. Liverpool, they've been complaining about Szoboszlai, but you know who they haven't been complaining about? Endo, as an example. That's something where you can't blame the manager. You can probably blame the individual more. But when we blame a whole front line and we blame a whole midfield, then I just have to ask questions to the guy that gives them the instructions. It's easy to say Onana made individual mistakes. That's so easy for us to see. That one I agree on. But there's about 23, 24 players that haven't been playing well. It can't be 24 bad individuals.
The injuries, though.
I actually tweeted the same thing. That Staffy just said in regards to like 20 plus players not playing well in the squad. Like, that's not good. A good look on Ten Hag, because you can't, like, at the start of the season, even last season, we say Martinez was playing well, Casemiro for the most part played well, Rashford obviously played well, a bunch of players, Shaw in and out was okay. So, Varane obviously was good last season. So you were like, okay, but this season, even Varane, his form kind of dipped off. Like, everybody has looked poor. And even right now, I wouldn't say anyone is playing really. Garnacho had a really good game today, but I wouldn't say like they have been like he's been on fire. So this is where like I struggle. I think Ten Hag, my biggest fear with him was he was going to become one of those European managers that come to the Premier League and don't understand that the Premier League is not the Dutch league. It's not Europe. You have to play in a certain way. People, like, I'm going to use Arsenal for example. People are like, why are Arsenal playing a little bit more defensive this season? Why are they, the way they're playing? But the way they're playing is going to, in my opinion, get them to win the league. Because they are able to nick results. They have a solid defense. And their attack gets them goals when they need it for the most part. And last season, they were a bit too naive. Like, you can't be naive in the Premier League. And that's what Ten Hag is so naive. It's crazy. Like, the way he sets up his teams, you vacate your midfield, you're going to kill anybody. And he killed Casemiro. He's not allowed Amrabat to adjust because he leaves him on his own. He leaves even Mainu on his own in midfield. These are tactical problems, and he still hasn't learned from it, right? Any team that sees Manchester United, like, oh yeah, they're gonna abandon the midfield. We can tear them apart. I don't even get why. Villa didn't do it today. I don't know, maybe because they had Camara. If Camara played, I think it would have been a different game. So at the end of the day, I think I like Ten Hag, but for me, he's not understanding the profile of players you need to dominate in the Premier League is far different to any other league in the world. It's so much so that it.
Like, I remember it was Pep Guardiola when I think it was like Pep's second year. Every Ten Hag got asked this question in 2019. Why did Pep struggle in his first year? And Ten Hag said because he didn't have pace and power. And then he added that in 2017. Well, it's come full circle. It's your second year managing in the league. Where's my pace and power?
It's crazy.
You know
it's
what's
ridiculous.
funny, Griggs? We talk about this team actually being P&P because everyone was like, "Oh, we're going for P&P." We're actually not P&P. We think we are. We think we recruited P&P because we got the likes of Mount and them and Hojlund and them in the summer. But when you actually look at it physically, I don't even know what the stat is. I would love to look what the stats are. But we're one of the teams that physically get dominated almost every game. Like, when you really look at it, we get dominated on all parts of the pitch for most games. we look at our team. Our team is not physical. First of all, we don't have height in our team. We have a very short team, in my opinion. Actually, our striker is tall and he's not even good in the air. McTominay is not good in the air. So we don't even, our tall players are not even dominant there. And when you look at running stats, so many times when we would lose games, I would hear that we got outran by like five miles and shit. And I'm like, bro, how are we getting outrun by teams when we were meant to build a PNP team? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. How are we not good PNP and we're not good on the ball? So what are we good at?
Well, basically Arsenal. Well, basically Arsenal in like 2006-07 without the flair players. That's just how bad we are. Yeah. We don't have the flair players, and then we don't have PNP. It's like there's no, we're neither. Like, we don't have like a bunch of, Juan Matas or players that are just really silky on the ball, right? And then we don't have the pace and power to cope with smaller teams that maybe can, like we saw them against Bournemouth, who really added a lot of PNP in their squad, and United could not keep up with it. It's only going to get worse. That's this season. Like, we still have a lot of teams to play. People are saying Luton away. I can tell you right now, Luton away, we have a high chance of losing that game. We have a high chance of losing that game.
Them man got PNP. Them man are physical. Them man are athletes. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Ross Barkley got more PNP than our home midfield.
Yeah.
Big 2023. Ross Barkley got more PNP than our home midfield. It's crazy.
Yeah. Let's talk. Let's have some positivity. Rasmus Hojlund, man. Listen, man. I'm so glad. You know what's mad, yeah? I actually thought it was McTominay that scored. From where I was here, I actually thought it was McTominay. Then I looked, and then I seen, obviously, it was the celebration and whatnot. It was actually Rasmus Hojlund. But, man, I'm just glad because you know what? His overall game today was dead, man. He couldn't control. He couldn't pass. No, 100%, because I have to admit it. His overall game was terrible today. There was one moment in half-time, ending half-time. He didn't run for the ball. I was like, bro, it's not, the referee's not blowing his whistle yet. You have to keep playing to the whistle. But listen, finally he's got his goal, and I feel like for me, hopefully that kicks him on now, and he scores more and more and more. You know, everyone saying he got his miracle. I'm just glad he scored, guys, because if he won another game, that would not be good for his confidence. But yeah, man, and like I said, Rash, who obviously got the assist and whatnot, but the front three today I thought played well. Garnacho was, for me, my man of the match on that right hand side. And Rashford had a bit of bite about him on that left hand side as well. The front three, Michael, I'll start with you, man. You get me? They did their thing today. You can't lie to you. The front three were good in large parts.
They were. Biggest thing, the first thing was the Rashford. Like Omar talked about, like when he plays good, the whole team's good. Every time he saw Ezri Konsa, he's like, "I'm gonna beat you 1-on-1. I'm that confident." And he did that for the most part. Konsa got a couple of good tackles in, to be fair, because Konsa's a good athlete and everything like that. But Rashford was confident every single time. That's what I asked for Rashford every single game. I'm not asking for you to get 3 goals and assists every game. That's not gonna happen. But just take your fullback down the wing, whether you put in a cross or whether you put in a shot. Good things can happen, because when you play the ball across the box, anything can happen. Own goal, deflection, anything can really happen. As for Hojlund, I agree with you. His overall game was terrible, and that's why I tweeted, I'm low-key giving up. And every time I tweet that, the opposite always happens. I get slapped in the face with the humble pie is what it is. But you know what the funny thing is? When he scored, I haven't seen him shoot the ball enough that I forgot he's left-footed. I thought he was right-footed. I'm like, good for him to score with his weak foot. That's how little I seen him shoot. I forgot what foot he is because I haven't seen him shoot the ball since Champions League, since against Copenhagen. That's the last time I saw him shoot the ball. It's been that long. So I'm happy for him. It's always nice. It's also the perfect situation for him to get the goal. Boxing Day, the biggest day of football in England, that special day in front of the Stretford and a winner as well. It's better than having like a goal when it's like 4-0 and you score a nice little tap in, like Weghorst did. And Weghorst started crying doing a knee slide against Betis in the Europa League. At least actually, I get why he cried today. Boyhood United fan, all that kind of stuff. I'm happy for him. As for Garnacho, I've been asking for right wing the whole season. Finally got him on the right wing.
Yeah, you've been asking for that. You've been asking. You think it's better?
Yeah, because he can't shoot when he cuts in because his ball striking is terrible. So when he's on the right wing, his angles are better because he could either drift inside because he's a good ball carrier. He's good. He's quick and he's very direct, so he's not going to be hesitant like an Anthony is. And he can also go down the outside and just put the crossing with his right foot. So it's good for him the way he did, and I'm happy for him. I want to see this front three for at least the next couple games because I don't want to see Anthony. I think the proof's in the pudding with Anthony. There's really no point with Anthony.
But
Hey,
you
he
don't know
won
if
us
he's
the
not gonna
corner.
play.
He won us.
Though.
He won us the corner that we scored from.
Yeah, he
Did
would
he actually? I don't
Yeah,
remember that. That's how little I care about when Anthony goes on the pitch. Every time I see Anthony on the
He
pitch,
won that was me being sarcastic with it. He won the ball in their box, but then lost it
Oh,
right
yeah,
away. I was like,
okay.
bro, how'd you win it and lose it? But then it was a corner, so I'm like, okay.
Actually, this is the worst use of funds I've ever seen. In my
Hey,
life.
hey, it was still a positive outcome, right?
Look at this.
That's,
Relax your Anthony dos Santos,
Nah,
bro.
but you know what it is though? I don't think he's going to be dropped for the Nottingham Forest game. I believe he's going to probably come back in. I don't trust
Anthony.
Ten Hag to keep Anthony.
You
may
know,
come back in.
you know who I said this about? I said this about McTominay. Because a lot of people got gassed about McTominay getting a job today. I'm like, until I see him get a job back-to-back games, I don't believe it. Because, McTominay could just been rested today because he's played about 12 90s in a row. The dude's got to be
That's
gassed
true.
out, surely. Even him, who's like meant to be a physical monster and everything like that. Garnacho today, too. Garnacho actually might get arrested because he got gassed out by the 90th minute. He hasn't played this many minutes before in his professional career. And Ten Hag is asking a lot out of him. And by the 80th minute, I know sometimes players should go down to time waste. He looked like he was actually physically knackered. Like, he couldn't run anymore. So I wonder, maybe Ten Hag... You know what the thing is? We don't have that many games in January. I think the maximum amount of games we can have is 3 if we win our FA Cup tie against Wigan. So maybe just try to like get the most out of a player physically for the next couple of games. I think Ahmad's almost back. I know he's in full training, so surely he's close to having a couple of minutes off the bench. So just keep Garnacho, Anthony. Brandon Shaw was on the game today. Can he not take him back to Amsterdam with him? Can he not just like hide him in the
Percy
suitcase?
was there too. It was them too.
I said Van Persie's there. Hojlund's gonna score today, and it happened. I tweeted that too. I said Van Persie's there. Van Persie's there, man. The omen was there for Hojlund to score today, and he did. So I'm happy for him. Now I've always said this about Hojlund. With Hojlund I said once he gets that first one, I feel like he's the type of striker that can just bag 4 games in a row. He's like those kind of strikers, and I'm hoping that's the case, especially against Forest, who is a different Forest than Steve Cooper, which I forgot about. So they're gonna be a little bit more defensively rigid. But I'm hoping that they don't have the best center backs in the world. I'm hoping he could just bag one, and then after that, I think it's FA Cup against Wigan. I would play him in that game, try to get him more confidence. And then Spurs, we didn't have him in the first game against Spurs in the Premier League because he was injured with the back injury. Spurs are kind of similar to Villa in terms of they leave a lot of space in behind. So I'm hoping that he can kind of occupy that space and try to thrive. But he's going to be playing against Christian Romero, and Christian Romero is going to definitely lay in a tackle on him. So hopefully he can handle that because Hojlund for the first 60 minutes was moving like Jack Swagger. He just wanted to wrestle the whole game.
I just want to speak on Hojlund because I hear this thing all the time. Hojlund is a wrestler. He's not. This is down to Ten Hag playing Hojlund like as if he's freaking a target man. Hojlund is not a target man. It does my head in constantly. He's having him play with his back to goal, and I'm like, Hojlund has one of the best like forearm strengths of any player I've seen as a striker in the Premier League. Have him go down the sides of centre backs and the fullback. Let him attack that space. Instead, we have Ten Hag having him play like as if he's Drogba 2.0. Like, it makes no sense. Like, play him to his strengths. He should be doing what Ollie Watkins does for Villa, but we don't play him like that. You didn't see Ollie Watkins today constantly getting in a fight with centre backs. Yeah, he had a quiet game, but the manager doesn't instruct him to do that. But we have Hojlund doing the same thing at Manchester United. It's poor profiling from the manager. He thinks he's Haller. He's not Sebastian Haller. Ten Hag needs to get his head out of. This is not Ajax 2007, like 1920. Like, you have a different profile set of players. You need to use them to their strengths. Play Hojlund. I'm telling you, he did it. Like, go watch Hojlund against Arsenal when he came on. He played completely different to how he's playing now. He kept on attacking down the sides. That's why Gabriel had a very hard game when he came onto the pitch. We are having Hojlund play with his back to goal against 2 centre backs. It's ridiculous. Like, the boy is strong, but like he's not that strong.
When he was interchanging with wingers, I actually agree with you because I said this before. He's very good when he interchanges with wingers because he could carry the ball too. He's not the best at it, but he can carry the ball too. So when he goes out wide and he drags a defender with him, it kind of creates that separation for your winger to come in, and then he takes with his fullback with him. Or let's say Rashford as an example, cutting in, and now he goes at a center back instead of going at his right winger. It just creates that chaos in the defense. Where we actually, I agree with you. We've seen that in the Arsenal game. He's done that. If you remember that goal and that got disallowed by Garnacho, He didn't do anything other than link up the play. It was just a quick pass like that. He didn't hold up the ball and wait for the wingers to run down. That's not what he's good for. So I agree with you. He needs to go back to what he. What can I even say to how he used him? He just needs to use him for what he's good for. He can't force him to be that target man because he's really not good. I can see that he's trying. Exactly.
He's forcing him to play like that. He's killing the boy's confidence. He's killing the boy's confidence.
This is why when people say he wrestles and he twerks and all that, bro, the manager is asking him to do that, and it's not his best ability. Just like when they're trying to play the ball high to him, when that's not his best ability. If you want to eventually eventually develop his game to be that complete striker that does that, the kid is still 20. You could teach him that. I'm not saying he can't be that, but right now you signed him as your only striker, and because let's be honest, Martial he's there, but he's not actually there. He's your only striker that you're using every game. You need to use him to his best abilities because you need to score goals. Eventually, when you have two strikers and he's the understudy and you have time to develop him, by the age he's 24, 25, and you want to ask him to be the complete package and do all that, I hear that. I understand that. That's just going to show me if you're a good coach or not. But right now, stop using him that way. The guy clearly is struggling and had 0 goals in 14 games. Like, play to why you signed him. What did you see when you signed him? He was a second striker. What does a second striker do? He plays off the first striker. What does that mean? He runs into space. He goes, as you said, he runs into the channels, goes wide, drifts wide.
But he also needs to anticipate a little bit better as well. Anticipate a little bit better.
He overruns the ball, Said. He overruns the ball. I agree with you. I said this on my match reaction.
Too much.
But you know what it is, Said? I wasn't sure if today he was just like, because like he knew the way he was playing, he looked like he had something like right after the game, like he's rushing the game. Like, bro, hurry up. We got to finish the 90 minutes because I got something to do.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like he was just playing at I don't even know how to describe it, but he wasn't composed. He wasn't doing the right things. He looked like he was forcing everything. And that's why a few times when he forced the wrong pass or he overran or underran the ball, he was making a lot of wrong decisions. I actually think today was one of his worst games. But funny enough, he got a goal. And we'll remember him today because he scored the goal. But honestly, he's had a lot of better games where he's done all the fundamentals and just didn't score. Today was the opposite. And I feel like low-key, this is going to upset a few people. I think also Garnacho didn't have a great game. He had a good second half, but I don't think he had a good game.
That's harsh, man.
That first half, listen, that first half.
He was our best player, man. Yeah.
But here's the thing, Said. The first half, his passing in the first half looked like you on the Big Six. He got a 0 passing, bro. That passing that he had, I thought it was Said in a Garnacho costume.
Second half, he came alive. Second half,
you know what
he came alive and it was unbelievable.
That's what I'm saying. In the second half, he did well because he played to his strengths in the second half and the game suited him. But the first half, every time he cut in, first of all, I didn't understand why he was cutting in a lot. You're right-footed, but you keep cutting on your left. I got flashbacks of Omar in pro clubs. Secondly, every time he made a pass, the pass was the weight of the pass was horrible. There was that one pass where Rashford played and ran in behind, and all he had to do was just lay off the ball to him, playing behind the defender. And the weight of the pass was insane. Even Rashford looked at him. It was one of those where Rashford started throwing his arms up, and I'm like, I kind of understand why Rashford is pissed, because if you weigh that pass correctly, that's a goal right there. I don't even remember what the score was at the time, but that's an easy 1 goal in the first half there. So he did a lot of things where like I don't think it was good enough. But the second half, he did what he does best: running in behind, going one-on-one with the goalkeeper, taking shots. Should have passed a few times, but taking enough shots where he got 2 goals. So I'll give him praise for that. But I don't think that game, his overall game, was amazing. Where I could look at him like, wow, what a performance! This guy like did everything flawless today. Sorry for being.
By the way, guys, big up to everybody here. There's over 800 here, only 250 likes. Let's get them likes up, people. I don't know what you lot are doing. We've just won a game, and you lot are not even liking the video, man. So please hit the like button. I'll come to you, Marcel. Yeah, talk to me about the midfield, man. Midfield was more balanced today. I thought for me, Eriksen had a low-key good game, and then Bruno in that role where it suits him a little bit better, man. But did you like that midfield today? When
we're talking about control in games, and last season, Ten Hag was mentioning how important Eriksen is for control. He brings the balance, and if you're gonna, slowly pivot away from, having a single 6 by himself in the team, having Eriksen and Kobe as a double pivot, it's going to help you build up. It's going to be a bit stronger. It's about the right profile players, like Brian was saying before. Getting somebody alongside Kobe that's got the dynamic running, the legs, can do the defensive side of the game and the offensive side of the game as well. You know, someone that's more suited to the Premier League level. And then you just have Bruno there, who I think was fantastic today. I know everyone's going to say otherwise, but I think he was really good in terms of what he was offering, in terms of the running,
I might have been too
on
harsh myself, but I just don't.
He's just such a.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, my fault for interrupting.
I think long term, we have to look at him. The jury's out on him in terms of, is he like what Brian was saying? Is he that elegant, in tight spaces, 1-2 touch finishes, against the low block? Can he survive and win us games against the low block? Can he become a proper captain and help us win games against the top 4 teams?
Oh, you're talking about Bruno?
The jury's still out on that, bro. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say that we've seen that from him yet.
It's never going to happen, Marcel. Today's game was perfect.
I disagree. It will happen.
I think Greg said it perfectly. Today it looked like 2019 Bruno. Why? There was so many spaces, so much space for him to pass into, and I think he had 5 through balls, leading to chances, and that's the first time anyone has created five chances like that since De Bruyne and I don't know what game. So clearly this game suited him,
Yeah.
But here's the thing: he's not going to be. I don't think he's not. Go ahead.
He will, Staffy. I think he will, bro.
I think he will, bro. He's 29.
I think he will become the Bruno that we all kind of have in our minds, but not all of us. Because you guys, everyone thinks that he's not good enough, or a lot of people think he's not good enough. I think he will become.
It's not a profile. It's about profile, though. Preference.
I think Bruno's
in the 10, he won't become the guy that we all think that he should become. Yes, I understand that.
That's what I was trying to get to.
He'll become the 8.
Bro, I just think with Bruno,
I hear that, Omar.
I think Bruno's a good player.
Under those premises.
I think Bruno's a good player. Like, obviously, you don't get those kind of stats with just being a shit player. Like, that just doesn't happen. Like, he has talent. But for me, he's a floor raiser. He'll raise the floor of your club, and he did that with us specifically. He showed that with us when he came in. But there comes to a certain point where there's no more about getting top 4. We want to progress from top 4. We want to compete for the big pot.
Right.
We want to do doubles. We want to be what Arsenal, City, and Liverpool are being right now. And for me,
we'll always have ceiling, bro. We'll always have ceiling.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, but when people mention number 10s to me, Bruno doesn't qualify. When I'm thinking of number 10s, I'm looking at Kaká, Bergkamp, who also played in that position for Arsenal. Ozil, come on, Bruno doesn't touch these guys at all. Like, your number 10 is supposed to be for me anyway, because in that position, I'm not sure if it was Kaká that said this, but that is the most difficult position to play in because you don't have space there. And what does Bruno need to be at his best?
Space. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I just said. This is why I said today's game suited him because there was a lot of space. There's going to be a lot of game when there's no space.
Suited a lot of players, though.
So what am I going to do?
A lot of players. Rashford as well. Another one.
Exactly, Saeed. But this is why I'm saying when Greg said it's 2019, Greg wasn't lying. And people in the chat can cry and say, I won't give him credit. I just actually gave him credit for the 90 minutes. So I don't know what you're waffling about. I'm just saying.
No.
I think people think we think he's a trash player. He's not trash. Bruno is a good player, but the profile of the player, what we need, he doesn't fit that.
Bro, there's a ceiling. Listen, the ceiling, how good you're gonna be as long as he's in the 10 and he's your main man in the midfield. You just gotta understand that because historically, when you look at great teams,
to play with 10, man. That's my bigger question. Why do we
play? You know what's mad?
But that's a different conversation,
No, 1 minute. 1 minute. Well, you know what's mad, yeah? Listen, before I go in, 1 second, tap in Tobes is saying, why does Omar have a Garnacho shirt on the wall? United fully deserve 3 points. Bruno is Bruno. He's set in his way, can't build around him, but he's good. This is what I'm trying to say. For now, Man United are in a way where they're just playing almost survival football. You're playing around 2 players, Rashford and Bruno. They're the main 2 players. So now you have to probably do that for now. But when I think of what Man United should become, Bruno shouldn't be part of this team for me. Period. Rashford should not be part of this team. Period. Literally, if you want to be a successful team, these 2 guys cannot be part of your team because you're going to play in a way where You want to be on the front foot. You want to have possession.
That's what I tried to say earlier, bro. That's what I tried to say earlier.
I still have slight hope with Rashford. I think Rashford can still be like in a. I don't know. He can't be. He can't be the mentality.
I want to thank Tobe. I want to thank Tobe for the super chat. My fault, bros. I just want to thank Tobe for the shout out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, big up,
the jersey sign.
Big up, Tobe.
The jersey
yo, what about this one here?
Bro, that jersey wasn't there like 2 hours ago. Have some shame, Wallah.
There was a reason why.
Have some shame. Wallah, have some shame. That shit wasn't there for a few days.
I can't help it.
After the West Ham game, bro.
I was dusting my crib.
Wallahi, he took it down after the West Ham game. Because Garnacho missed a one-on-one. Today he scores a brace and it's back on. Wallahi, you're a fraud. I will continue to call you out every time on Saeed's channel because that shit was not there when he missed a one-on-one. When he missed the one-on-one, you're like, yo, it's clipped, yo. It might be clipped with Garnacho, yo. Today, it's signed jersey.
Yesterday, I was. You know what? Look what Tobes did. Second of all that because we don't got Kulusevski jersey signed because that player not even about it. But the problem is, right?
I would take Kulusevski over Garnacho any day. Yesterday, I would take Kulo any day.
I was getting harassed on Staffy's stream. Actually, I was getting harassed by bullies.
Oh, let's blame Staffy.
So I got up mid-stream, took it off, so the cyber bullies could get off me a little bit. Oh, Garnacho's been shit. So I took it off. I'm like, y'all feel better? That was the reason why that.
Blame my channel. Long story short,
I hear it.
TV, whatever.
Before we get
his negative fan base and his negative fans. That's all it is.
I hope everyone in the comments sees this. He's calling you guys negative.
Yeah. Big up O'Malley says no top team plays on midfield that turns the ball over as much as Bruno. Brian, do you think, like I said to you, with what Marcel says here, you have your opinion on Bruno Fernandes, but like I said, for now it makes sense. But for what you want to become, you know what I mean? It's not for me. That's what I think anyway, Brian.
I think like the biggest thing you could do for Manchester United next season, for me, if I really want to believe in this Ineos project, is to sell players like Rashford and Bruno. Like that for me would be like, okay, these guys are actually serious. Like they're not looking at the team and looking at names. They're looking at profiles of players that we need. Like, because you're going to get into a situation where people are like, oh yeah, they are best players, but best players for what? For top four? Like we want to get Manchester United to a place where we can dominate the league.
I like this, Brian.
Like, and for me, Bruno and Rashford, like I liked Bruno. I really wanted us to sign Bruno, but that was for Ole, when Ole was playing a certain type of football that worked for a player like Bruno Fernandes. But if you want to go and play a different kind of way where you want to dominate the ball, where you want to be able to break down low blocks consistently, it's not Bruno Fernandes. And it sucks to say this because I think he's a good player, just not a good fit for this team anymore. And people are going to say like, well, we play shit football. But the way we played under Ole wasn't sustainable. The way Ten Hag could play in his best form is sustainable. And even if we wanted to bring in another manager, it would be to play in a certain way that demands ball domination, and we cannot do that with Bruno Fernandes. So either way, he needs to go for me.
Let me add something to that,
Can I just say on that though, Brian? Why is the order of what you're doing it with to players like Bruno Fernandes first? Isn't Scott McTominay, Maguire, or Evans, Varane?
I hear what he's saying. He said make a statement.
And then Brian, just on that, Bruno can go further behind, can go further back in the pitch. As you get older.
No, he can't. We just saw that last game.
Here's the problem. I'm going to use an analogy. I'm going to use an analogy to answer your question. I'm going to use a metaphor to answer your question, right? When you're fixing your car, right? Are you going to first of all tackle a broken window first, or if your engine is out? Your engine. You're going to fix the most important thing first. And Bruno Fernandes and Rashford are our two core players. They drive the way we play. So if you throw McTominay out, it's not going to change the way Bruno Fernandes and Rashford play, who are our key players. So either way, you need to take them out first. McTominay can sit on the bench. No one cares about McTominay. But Bruno Fernandes is the captain. He has to start. Rashford is earning £400,000 a week. He has to start. So you have to start from these guys. And then you work your way and start removing all the fluff. If you replace Bruno Fernandes and Rashford with two players that actually fit a style of football that is actually, you can keep replicating it, you will see a better team.
Yeah.
Brian,
you see a much better team.
Let me reword how you said it, because you said it perfectly. I actually used to call him and Rashford the engine and the transmission. Those are the first two things you got to fix in a car if you want the car to run. You don't worry about the cosmetics. But let me tell you this. Let's reword it a little bit. To change a team, you got to change the spine of the team. The number 10 is usually one of the most important players in any team's spine. It doesn't matter who you change around him when you don't change him. You change who. Okay, if I want to change how I play, I gotta get the right center backs, the right DM, and the right 10, and then everyone around them. Low key, you will find out eventually who fits to play with these players and who doesn't. Because you look at role players, your 10 is never a role player. Your 10 is usually, historically, when I look at teams, your 10 is usually the best player on the pitch. Your 6 is one of the best players on the pitch. Your center backs are one of the best players on the pitch. You build around them. A right back, no matter how good or bad they are, they're not usually a priority. A winger, you can afford to have a dodgy winger, but you can have a very good striker and a very good 10, which is why, as long as we have Bruno, I agree with you, not to mention that he just got the captaincy. So everything actually in this team runs through Bruno on the pitch. You got to understand that. As long as you have Bruno, there's little room for change. If you want real change, if you want root change, you got to change the 10, you got to change the 6, and you got to change the center backs. We already addressed one of our center backs in Martinez, and I think we're all content with him in the next few years. We're looking at a second center back to play along with him instead of Varane, because obviously he's aging and getting injured, whatever. We already have 1-6 in the door in Manu, where most of us rate, but we're looking for a partner. The one thing that you really got to address that no one has addressed really is the 10, because no one ever talks about selling Bruno. Everyone talks about Bruno being granted in this team, like he has a for granted spot. But we're never going to change as long as he's there. That's just my honest opinion.
I disagree with this.
I like Douglas Luiz, guys. Douglas Luiz. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think he had a great performance today. But I still think Douglas Luiz.
We talked about physical profiles. I want a physical. I want Amadou Onana. I'm not gonna lie. I want Amadou Onana.
Yeah, that's one of the midfielders for me that I would get along with Wafer from Feyenoord. Wafer and Onana.
Inshallah, we will be there. We will be there.
I'm not really feeling Onana, man. I can't lie, guys. I'm not sold on Onana.
You're just traumatized of the name side. Forget the shitty Onana.
No, it's not about that. But bro, technically, yeah, you man are gonna be absolutely fuming when he can't get involved.
Saeed, technically, I'm telling you right now, it's kind of like when Stones was at Everton. A lot of people underrated how technically he was at Everton. When he actually played in a good team, he looked even better. Onana is like Everton's best player on the ball. Like, I'm telling you, forget the fact he's playing. I don't understand this. Like,
this notion that he's bad on the ball, I don't know where people get that.
Said, you rate
I'm saying he has deficiencies. His technical attributes are not great. His physical,
do you rate Declan Rice?
Yes, very highly.
Do you rate Declan Rice on the ball?
Yes, very highly.
Amadou Onana is very similar.
Stop
it. The biggest deficiency from Onana. If you actually watch Onana, his biggest deficiency is that.
Hold on. What did he say wrong? What did he say wrong?
No, he said, before I bring him back, he said, yeah, he's similar to Declan Rice in terms of technical ability. That's what he said. Are you crazy?
Wait, there's nothing wrong with what you said.
That's what Snappy said. That's when Snappy said Valverde is not good.
They're both their primary means of progressing the ball is through ball carrying. That's what they both do. Declan Rice is not some world class passer.
I have never seen Declan Rice ping a 60-yarder as an example.
I think he's a glorified playing.
Declan Rice might be better on the ball, but in terms of the way that they progress the ball, it is very similar. They're very similar profiles. Declan Rice is obviously more defensively efficient. He's much better defensively.
Yeah. Much better defensively.
He's secure well. He's more technically secure.
But Onana has bursting runs through the ball carrying that a lot of midfielders can't run, and you can't get the ball off him because he's 6'5" and he's like 250. You can't get the ball off.
Go look at the goal that they scored against us when Ronaldo scored his last goal for the team.
Pair him with a Kobe Mainu who is technically proficient. Put them together. I'm not asking Onana to be Rodri. That's not what we're gonna ask him to do. We're just asking him to be a bully in midfield, basically run around and win the ball back, carry the ball off the pitch through ball carrying, and then be a threat in terms of whether it's crashing the box. Bro, that's all he's asked. That's all Onana has to be.
Onana's biggest weakness is just his concentration. He's more mental. Because the guy has everything to be a very good player. I just think sometimes he switches off and he's not as involved in the game. But when he is, he's very hard to stop as a player. Like he's a very good player. But for me,
Weaver Onana is crazy. That's crazy.
Weaver and Onana, those two as a pair, I wouldn't even use Kobe Mainoo as a 6. I would play a 4-3-3. I would have Mainoo on the left. I would sit with Weaver and run.
The way Kobe Mainoo played today was disgusting because he was not even in the game that much. By the way, he won 5 of his 6 aerial duels today.
I was about to tell you, he won 5 of 6, and ground duels he won 2 of 4. So the guy's about 50% in winning his duels today.
Yeah, Mainoo is a talent. Like I said, like before you came on the show, I was like, number 6. Sometimes you don't want to be talking about him because he might have a bad game, but he went about. He did his job really well. He did his job really well.
I love the lofted passes that he does out to the fullback because it always falls to like the fullback's front foot.
He's in my opinion, he's actually a better progressive passer than Bruno Fernandes. Like he actually treads passes better than Bruno.
That pass than Bruno Fernandes, but
that pass he made for, I think it was against Liverpool, and he did this at Anfield
to Garnacho.
Garnacho is probably one of the best passes I've seen this season from any midfielder. Like ridiculous. Like the technical ability to see that is really good, like really high.
Ahmad Onana is the second best Onana in the Premier League. You know what? By the way, did you like the fact that Rashford wasn't getting them passes today? I thought they didn't find him today. The midfield were very, very slow in terms of picking out Rashford. Did you agree with that, or did you think, you know what, Rashford is petulance and whatnot? Like there was a couple of situations where the midfield didn't really look at the players in the first half, but second half they did it better.
It wasn't even the midfield though. It was Johnny Evans. He was getting mad at Johnny Evans.
Johnny Evans, man. But then again, Johnny Evans though, fair play to him. I can't really say anything about Johnny Evans.
That's where I get mad at Rashford. You have to look at who your teammates are. Johnny Evans is not going to be this guy that always pings the ball. He's not Lisandro Martinez that's always going to find you there. Johnny Evans, especially at his age, because he's going to be a little bit more on the safe side of things. Try to be.
You know what it is, guys? He was actually bursting forward when he did that. Evans is very good at picking a pass when he has the ball low key. Like when the ball is dead on the floor. Yeah, when the ball is dead on the floor, he picks good passes. When he runs up and he has to make a pass, that's not his attribute. Like, I don't know why Rashford thought today he's just going to run and he's probably going to curl one behind the defender and find him.
I mean, he's trying to highlight.
It's also game IQ, though, because that's part of the reason why we played poorly in the first half. We were constantly forcing the play. Sometimes you need to play football. It's like the first half we forgot to play football. And we wanted to just exploit the fact that Villa were playing high. Like, we needed to pass the ball more, play more triangles. And that's what allowed the space to open up and we're able to find the right passes. But in the first half, like, anytime we got the ball, Garnacho will make a run. Like, Rashford will make a run. Like, we were constantly looking for that ball. And it wasn't on. Like, we forced it way too much. And for me, that's what changed in the second half, where we started passing. We were doing those triangles. Dalot was doing really well to bust. And anytime I see Dalot play on the left, for me, he plays better than when he plays on the right.
He
nearly cost us, man. He nearly cost us.
He's still Dalot. He's still gonna make those like defensive mistakes, but he's bossed. Like he's bossed up pace and his strength. He's actually probably one of our better PMP players.
Wan-Bissaka today.
This is the biggest think off ever, man. Dalot versus Wan-Bissaka. Can I please get 4 new Can I get 4 new fullbacks? We talk about replacing Bruno first. I beg, no, forget that. I need 4 new fullbacks this summer. Please get me a whole new fullback.
I agree. I agree.
I agree. Luke Shaw's injured again. It's for the 5th time this season. Malacia.
Luke Shaw injured. Shock.
Malacia. I haven't seen Malacia since the Sevilla game.
Remember when some people was calling him world class?
I still think he's a great player, but at some point,
I didn't call him world class.
I still think he's a great player. At some point, you just get too many injuries where I'm like, bro, I've given up at some point.
Okay.
I rate his technical ability, but at some point when you're not available, I'm done with it. By the way, Saeed, Aaron Wan-Bissaka attempted 0 crosses today.
Yeah, I know that of him. Defensively, that's all.
That's the issue, bro. You have a fullback that doesn't cross. How are we meant to score goals when you have a fullback that's not good at crossing?
Okay. Man them, yeah. And by the way, keep liking the video. We need 500 likes before we end the video. Last segment on the video, yeah. Marcel, how do we take this victory to the next game now? What do you want to see now building from this game? Because now we've evaluated the game. We've talked about how good we were in certain aspects. Now we need to say what is the action plan for next game? What is it you want to see, etc., etc. now going forward? Can we build on this? Is this another false dawn? Is this, chat to me, Marcel, and then we're gonna go around everyone and let people know, like, is this the start of a new run?
I don't know if it's the start of the new run. It's the start of us, or it's part of the process of us getting more familiar with what Ten Hag wants. It's part of the process of Ten Hag understanding and respecting the league in terms of, at some stage, am I going to have to add 2 midfielders in there holding as a pivot? And him understand. He hasn't even had 5 or 6 games with his Bruno, Mason Mount, Kobe, or his Bruno, Mason Mount, Cass. So we might have to see that headache of him revert back to that a couple of times just for him to be sure that it works. We don't fully know. So this is the start of him building some consistency. Hopefully he can find a period where he doesn't have Scott in the team, because that hinders his ball playing kind of setup. Hopefully he can have a period with Martinez in the team, because that adds to his build-up setup. Hopefully he can get a period with Mason Mount in the team, because then we're going to be able to play higher up the pitch and you're going to see more turnovers, with Bruno, with Rashi in form. So it's a good marker to lay down. And then we've got Nottingham Forest and Evermore. The next few games for me, they look like winnable games. There's 1 or 2 tricky ones in there. Wolves, I think, Spurs, I think, but Wigan, Forest, these are winnable games, man. So I think as long as the players come back in. Pardon?
Did you watch Forest today?
Yeah, they were good, man. They're good on the counter. They got the new manager bounce. They look sharp, man. They look like a good side. But it's not something.
Goal.
Did everyone want Elanga to be sold, by the way? I want to see what people's revisionism is, yeah? Did everyone, because I think for me, I wanted him sold anyway. Like, I'm not doing no revision. Did everyone want Elanga sold?
My decision on Elanga was made a long time ago. I said I wanted him loaned out last January. The club blocked the move for whatever reason. They blocked the loan move last year, which means you hindered about 6 months of his development. And then in the summer, I wanted him sold because I don't think he's Man United caliber. But again, you sold him for peanuts. You're seeing what Elanga's doing right now in the Premier League. That should have been at least 30 to 35 mil as a homegrown player. We got 15 mil.
Way too much.
What do you mean
30 mil for Elanga?
Well, do you see some of these prices in the Premier League?
Wait.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Forget the prices.
The price they got him for is fair.
Got a point.
No, it's not, bro. 15 mil for Elanga.
I probably would have pushed it to 25. I think at the end of the day, when you sell it, United Academy.
Brendan Johnson went for 60 mil to Spurs. Elanga's done the same shit as him this year. It's the same shit.
No, Brendan Johnson's a better player.
Is he really? Are we really sure that Brendan Johnson's better than Elanga? Are we like 100% certain about that? And he's 45 mil better than Elanga. 45 mil, not.
He's probably not.
He's got a point. He's got a point. They're similar level. They're similar level.
No, he's already at 10 GA. He's almost at 10 GA by the new year in the Prem. You tell me that's only 15 mil worth? That's crazy.
Griggs. Here's the thing. I agree with you. Brendan Johnson wasn't even worth that money. So when you really look at it, yes, they're closer. But
that's what he's trying to say.
One of them could have been a little bit more money, and one of them should have been less money.
I want him, bro. James Trafford went to Burnley for 20 mil, and he never played a game in the Premier League. Elanga was scoring on Champions League nights.
Where's James Trafford from?
Man City's academy. He never even played a professional game for Man City.
Okay.
No, there you go. But I wanted you to mention that.
We're acting like Carrington doesn't have the most Premier League players right now out of every academy in the Premier League. We have the most players, by the way.
You're selling 3-time Premier League winners in the academy. I'm not even talking about their first team. These guys were all winning their division.
Okay, and Elanga's contributing to men's football, first team football. He started for Sweden.
Griggs, that's why Palmer went for 45. You got to understand, any Man City academy product is getting sold for good money.
And I said Elanga should have gone at least for 30. That's 15 mil difference. Elanga's outperforming Cole Palmer right now.
I agree.
In terms of GA.
I don't care about the GA because Cole Palmer at the end of the day is a better player.
When you're forward, that's the first thing. When you
put Elanga in that position, he's not going to do what Cole Palmer is doing. So what's the point of this conversation? You're better than this conversation. No, we can't do this. Here's the thing. I'm not saying he's a better player, but I'm saying Elanga's putting up output that deserves to have paying a bigger price. Bro, 10 GA in the Prem is no joke. This is why I agree with you, Griggs. He probably could have been a little bit more in it. But let's not act. Listen, let's not act. Yeah, every day Jadon Sancho. Can I go a day without hearing this name? Elanga. I think Elanga found his level. Playing in Forest was one of the best decisions he's made. Because I'll tell you what, we saw Lingard get sold from United. Actually, left for a free. Went to Forest and hasn't done shit. But then Elanga goes and he balls out and people want to start criticizing us. How come we weren't talking about Lingard and now we're talking about Elanga? Some players find their level. He went into a team that knows how to utilize him well. He is one of the best athletes in the league. and I'm not even exaggerating. As
No,
an
he's about
athlete,
it.
he's one of
got
the
hops.
best athletes in the league. He's actually very physical. He's very fast. Yes, you said he has hops because we all remember that video of him training, doing the boxes, whatever. He's a very good athlete. He found a team that usually is more defensively resilient, and now when they're on the front end and they rely more on counterattacks and they have to be a little bit faster, and he does the basics, which is finding. Usually, he just runs and finds a cutback pass or a cross to his striker, and he gets a goal. That fits him very well. I actually applaud him for understanding that that was his level. But let's not sit here and act like, first of all, none of us wanted P&P football. We all thought when we got Ten Hag that we're going to play more possession based, and we wanted more technical footballers than physical footballers. So when we sold him, we all understood that we want players that are better on the ball than just being a pace and power, because we had a bunch of them and they weren't working. So him finding a team that fits him isn't necessarily a bad look on us. You can argue the money. That's the only thing I'll understand. If Griggs wants to sit here and say, yo, we should have gotten more money, I hear that. But anyone who's going to sit here and revise history and say we should have never sold him, Elanga was not the ceiling for United at all. He's not United at ceiling. We're looking at the wingers that we have right now.
Him,
and
yeah, we could be happy for him.
100%.
I think the only thing I understand why people say we never should have sold him is because when you look at players like Anthony that are sold to this football club, that's where I understand it. Because Elanga is a more effective player than Anthony.
Elanga would have done better than Anthony now, don't get me wrong. But it still doesn't make it good.
This could be like Anthony don't have 10J in his whole career.
Going back to the point here, I'm going to go to Brian next and then we'll go round. Is this a springboard now? Obviously, you said before it's yo-yo, isn't it? We're a bit yo-yo performances, but where do you see this? Now Ten Hag, Brailsford was here today. Do you think this changes anything? Where are you at now, going forward now?
Game by game. We're just gonna watch it game by game because every game is gonna be present a little bit something different. With the obviously Nottingham Forest, they're gonna play low block. Wolves are gonna be a team that they have a lot of PMP. Tottenham are gonna play differently. So we need to see how Ten Hag handles each game, which players he selects, which profiles he maximizes the best out of in each game. And if he goes and these few games again and start making bad decisions, McTominay comes back into the team. Suddenly we see Rashford on the right. Then we don't see Hojlund play. Or we just need to see. Because I say the same thing. He's going to be judged in this period. And depending on what he does, he's going to detail whether he's going to get a chance to sign more players in the summer or not. Because I think right now, all the credit he got from last season, he's used, I would say, about 95% of it. Right now, it's fresh eyes because he's made a lot of poor decisions. He's made a lot of poor decisions, and a lot of players are not getting better. If anything, they're getting worse. So he needs to go back to the drawing board. He needs to put a marker down. Okay, we beat Aston Villa, very good team in the Premier League. They beat Man City. Did they beat Arsenal as well, or did they draw? They beat Arsenal, I think.
Arsenal and beat City. And then
they beat Arsenal and beat City.
Luton for whatever reason.
So, you say, okay, we played a good team, top 9 team or whatever. We always have bad results against them. Let's now move forward and let's be a little bit consistent. 5 to 10 games of consistent football. Because for me, it's the performances. If the performances are not consistent, we see more kamikaze football where it's like, we don't know where a goal is coming from. Then for me, it's like, I'm sorry, Ten Hag, but you got to go. Because for me right now, there's another manager I'm looking at that for me, I think will be more of a better fit. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Stuffy, you go next.
Wait, about Ten Hag?
No, just in general now. Where do we go from this now, this victory? What has it showed us and your kind of feelings towards the future now in the next week or so?
Oh, nothing will change. We'll probably lose this game, the next game. I wouldn't be surprised. We probably go to Forest. We get played off the park. They beat us. I wouldn't be surprised. As I said, I'm not taking anything out of this game, just like how I didn't take anything out of the Liverpool result, the Chelsea win, even when we made that comeback versus Brentford. We've had some positive results this season, and we kept saying maybe it's going to help us kick off to something else, and none of these times anything has happened. Even when we get wins, we were never convinced. We're still sitting here and we're having the same issues. I don't think anyone, hand on heart, can look at today's game and say we solved any of our issues. So going into next game, we might do something very good that we haven't done all season, or we might do something bad that we haven't done all season, because just that's we're a yo-yo team, like Omar said earlier. He mentioned I said we're a yo-yo team. So every game, I take every game in isolation. Who's fit for the day? who's the opposition, are we home or away, and based on that, I make my analysis. I thought today's result would be more positive than people thought. People said we'd lose. I actually was optimistic, said we'd draw. We ended up winning. The West Ham game, I predicted a loss. So far, I'm with the yo-yo correctly. When it goes up, I'm with it. When it goes down, I'm with it. There's something, I don't know. I've just been watching this team for too long. I could tell. And I wouldn't be surprised if it forces a bad game. But I will agree with Brian. I don't want to dwell on it for too long. I do agree with Brian. I still think the manager needs to go. Those boos, by the way, today at halftime, if we didn't win today's game, I'm looking at Dave Brailsford, and I'm like, these boos, he's hearing them. He's going to turn to Jim, listen, we want to win these people over. I see Saeed sitting over there. Saeed is not happy. If Saeed is booing, it's not going to be good for us. You want Saeed to love you. How does Saeed love you? Get rid of that manager and bring in another manager. Because you want to win the fans. The first thing as an owner, you want to earn the fans' trust right away. If they look at bad football and they don't see you acting right away, they're going to be like, what change are you bringing when you're not even bringing us a clean slate? And as I said, and I'll say it again, I see you shaking your head then, Marcel, but this manager has not done enough, in my opinion, to warrant him a chance under a new structure. Just simply down to the fact that he can't give me tactics for 90 minutes that I as a fan can agree on. It's December, and I still look at his tactics, and I'm like, what is this shit? Just that's all I'm asking for. If you can give me tactics, I'll be like, yo, I trust the people that work with him. They're going to get him the right players for this system. But how can I trust them to get the players for your system when I don't even trust your system, let alone see your system? But that's it.
Facts. Omar, chat to us.
Bro, I said it earlier. I was the one with Marcel. We could together on this one, but I was the one that always is like, yo, we needed this game. That's it. Sheffield United come back. That's it. We're back. Brentford, oh my God, we're here again. We're here to stay. 6 points off the top. And then in the end, it's an outmost embarrassing performance the game after. So I really don't want to, let's be honest, Steffi is right on that point where it's not a game that we should be we were 2-0 down. We were 2-0 down against Forest that we're going to be playing on the weekend at Old Trafford as well. So it's just like, it was one of those situations where like, I'm not going to sit here and big up a performance where we're not even keeping up with, just give me a consistent run of performance where you're at least on a tactical level, you could see a flow of football that players are knocking it. I don't even see sometimes the players knocking it. I'm not going, but I still have faith in my guy though. You know what I'm saying? I'm on the Brian, like, 95% of the time we was just crediting the bank, and now it's just like you under scrutiny. I'm at that point.
Who's that?
Ten Hag is my guy. So
never be my guy.
No, bro, what he did last season, I think he deserves some credit in the bank. You get what I'm saying? We could cut him off some slack. So granted, I'm gonna wait till all the healthy players come back in finally, hopefully that ever does happen this season, right? And then we just got to take it game by game because it's a hard one, brother. It's really a hard one.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man.
Right? Did you boo today?
Nah, you know what? I was just tired, man. I didn't actually even boo, I think I booed. No, but I did boo. I did boo Bournemouth. I did boo Bournemouth though. Bournemouth, I did boo, but today I was just kind of almost like, when you're just tired and that. I was just like, yo.
Enos were in the house and
but I booed before. I booed before because, like I said, unless the people that think that fans are not entitled to boo, of course they are, man. You know what I mean? I agree that all the
Newcastle
time?
beat their team off today.
Jim Ratcliffe will probably be at the game against Tottenham. That's what people are saying. So
Tottenham, yeah. But I think we'll get away with that one because they got no Son, they got no Basuma. I think they got no couple of players.
Son is out.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, it'll be at Asia Cup. We'll be playing
Listen, United Spurs of America, I see him in the comments. United Spurs of America,
so we won't have Onana and Amrabat. Rest of them will be there available.
We won't have
Yeah. Griggs, chat to us, man. What do you think, man?
I'm kind of with everyone. Like, for me, it's one game at a time. I'm not really going to take too much. I think for me today, actually, the MVP was more the crowd because I didn't expect the crowd to be that amped up after halftime. Considering we're down 2-0, they kind of wolfed the team back into the game, and I think the players fed off that crowd energy. That will not be the case on Saturday because we're going to go away to Forest. They have a new manager, so the place is going to be amped up, and Forest actually have a decent home record, especially against the Big Six. So they're going to give us a tough task. So I think it's going to be a tough game, but in terms of like the overall picture, I'm with Staffy. I'm with Ten Hag. I talked about this backstage. For me, with Ten Hag is, I'll see what Ineos decide. But for me, I said this to Omar on my stream. I said Erik ten Hag, when he got this job, he interviewed Man United more than they interviewed him. The tables have now turned. You are now the one getting interviewed. You are the one that's gonna have to. You're gonna have to pitch to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Dave Brailsford, Jean-Claude Blanc, whoever the new DOF is, whoever the new head of recruitment is.
I like the French.
You must come with a PowerPoint like we do in school, and we have a project. The PowerPoint slides better be ready. You better know your tech. You better show to them what you do. And if you talk to them about Ajax principles, then you best damn be sure that I see Ajax principles on the pitch, because you're not gonna get away with lying about that. You're gonna have to put. It's not time to put up or shut up. You're gonna have to back your talk when you determine them. And if they don't believe in your vision, then for me, they have every right within. They have everything within their rights to go for a new manager, because we all know what owners do.
I think that's what Ten Hag may have a problem.
I agree, because she's not
the Tottenham hierarchy, when they were choosing who they wanted to hire, they said Ten Hag, he just wasn't charismatic enough. That's why they chose to not give him a job.
We said Rack's gonna be at the Spurs game, right? We said Rack's gonna be at the Spurs game. He's gonna see Ange. He's gonna pull up to Ange after the game with a blank check. Be like, well, how much did it take you to bring you over here? How much did it take to bring Ange over here?
You would love that, because you'll get your Greek manager.
And also, if you don't make top 4, if you don't make top 5, that's it. He's game over for him, man. So
by the way, Sai, that's
just don't get the sack, man. Just win.
To the people in the comments saying sack another manager and it's the same thing all over again. You guys are the same ones that told me nothing will change unless we change the structure. We literally just implemented a new structure. If they come in and they're like, listen, this is how we want to play football in this club. We're gonna bring in our own own people within, like, people that run the football, director of football, blah blah blah, all that, and then we're gonna bring in our own manager. Why is that a bad thing? Because you said you want the structure change. What if a director of football saying, he's looking at him, he's like, you know what, the type of recruitment that he doesn't make is not good enough for a big club. Let's get another manager. My suggestion would be XYZ. Why is that an issue? I don't get it. This whole fear, these people that are sitting there based on trauma saying we can't get rid of a manager because we got rid of managers before him. I keep using this analogy. If your partner cheated on you in the past, do you stop dating because someone cheated on you in the past and you had trauma? Or do you go on and listen, you still meet new people until you meet the right person? Why can
people have asked me,
why can I not find another manager when this manager is not applying the right tactics? And as
I think he'll sack himself, to be honest. I think he'll sack himself.
He actually caught life. I'll tell you something. He caught life because these guys were actually going to give him a decent chance in the beginning. I think they will. I don't want him to, but I think they will. I think they're going to give him a chance to prove himself because he did have a good season last season. But I 100% believe they have a list of options right now, and they know the minute we pull the trigger on this guy's coming in tomorrow, and they already know.
Ruben Amorim. I would, if I'm anybody that's Manchester United fan, Ruben Amorim for me is the guy that I will be watching. I think we all know. I think he's the guy because he was asked in a press conference what was going to happen with him at the end of the season. He said he already knows what's going to happen. Like, he already knows where he's probably going to go. Ruben Amorim for me.
I have a name. Yeah. I have a name inside this. I heard this on Mandem Talk. There's a name that you guys mentioned, and I think he's the number one person on Ratcliffe's list.
Graham Potter.
I really. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but I think he's the number one. So
before you wrap up, Marcel, if the manager was sacked here tomorrow, who would be your first pick coming into the football club? I want to gauge who would you bring in. Just
McKenna.
I want to see what kind of manager you would bring in.
So we have to kind of coincide with the kind of football we play in. So it can't be anyone like, that plays counter-attacking style of football. That's why I wanted these previous managers like Ole, like Mourinho, like David Moyes out of the club. So I don't want the manager to get sacked because I think we're going to stay with this type of football where it has got a bit of technical about it. So De Zerbi looks like the guy right now that's showing me, a lot of new new elements of technical football. I like Xavi Alonso, but has it been tested enough? I don't know.
No.
Xavi Alonso would never come to us. I'll tell you that.
Well, I promise you, De Zerbi is the worst person this club can hire. I think he's
by far the worst. He's not a winner. He's not going to win things. He's not a winner.
Such an overhype.
I haven't seen De Zerbi break down a low block since he came to England. By the way, I still haven't seen him break down a low block.
Go get Mike.
We'll see. We'll see.
I think for
But
me, it's
listen,
about quality
man,
of players, obviously. You know, and
Wembley,
once
we're
you get the
coming.
quality of
We're
players,
beating
then
Chelsea. We're
changes.
coming to Wembley, February 2024. We will be there no matter what.
Bro, I said I would take Carrick as an
man.
interim. Everyone said I'm crazy, but the guy's now is in the semifinal of the League Cup with fucking Middlesbrough.
When Carrick
Wayne
equals
Rooney,
Tom's
man.
accomplishments.
Wayne Rooney for the end of the season. Wayne Rooney, man.
No,
Wayne Rooney.
he's actually a
Oh,
good
listen,
manager,
listen, we're gonna
Saeed.
wrap up.
What's
He's
gonna happen
actually a
when
good
gonna wrap
manager,
up.
Saeed.
What's gonna happen when Carrick
Hey,
equals Tom's
Wayne Rooney.
accomplishments at Man
Saeed is a
United?
pleasure.
No, Carrick. Carrick is actually a good manager, so I don't know why you
Yeah,
took that as a joke.
yeah, he depends.
Rooney might be the worst
Oh,
manager
listen,
ever.
man.
So you need to stay away.
Shout out to
Anyway,
Wayne Rooney.
Ten Hag's not getting sacked anyway,
I
man.
feel sorry
Ten
for him.
Hag's not getting sacked, guys,
Yeah.
man.
Well, we'll see anyway. We're
Someone
gonna end on
clip
this
that.
anyway.
Someone clip
Listen,
that.
people-
This clip might age well.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, people, we're gonna wrap up here, man. It's been a good show. Well over overtime. Big up to everybody here, guys. If you haven't liked the video already, I just don't know why you wouldn't like the video. Unless you're a hater, unless you're one of them where you just, you know what I mean, you're a groupie and that. You know them guys that are just groupies. You get me? Then obviously like the video, and it's 385 likes. We're literally 115 away. So get that up to 500 likes. Big up the man them. I'm gonna shout out their channels. Make sure you follow up Michael Griggs on YouTube. Make sure you follow up 40 Fanatics, Oski on YouTube, on Instagram as well. Marcel, you can find him on United View and obviously Twitter and whatnot, etc., etc. Brian, Elite Pundit, make sure you follow him on Twitter, and Staffy TV. He just had a match reaction. Go check it out there. Support his channel. And yeah, man, it's been a good one. Late vibes. We'll be back next week after the. I don't know what
Forest.
game it is. No, it's just a lot.
Oh, you're talking about
Forest.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
Forest.
next Tuesday. Yeah, so we'll be analysing the Forest game, etc., leading up to the Wigan game. So make sure you tune in for that one. We're out, people. Peace.